one of the things that was in your original, in the TED Talk, your last TED Talk, was you had the 7 deadly sins. And I will admit to the fact of I don't practice all 7, but I practiced more than half of them. And I was like, wow. And you were basically saying, these are the things that inhibit you from really connecting and really communicating. It diffuses your ability to impact. And it was gossip, judging, negativity, complaining, excuses, lying, and dogmatism. And maybe you could speak to that for a second, because I just feel like, first of all, I think it was very courageous for you to communicate that. And you deliver it in a beautiful style, right? I mean, it's a loving, supportive, helpful style, but it's also, hey, here's the 7 deadly pieces. I think your style of delivering difficult things is exceptional. And but it really allows people to listen and take things on board and do a little self-examination. Oops, yeah, I could be guilty of that. Yeah, I can do that. I can drift into that. And if that's undermining your ability to communicate, that's undermining your ability to be able to articulate and connect with somebody, it's a big thing. Maybe you could just speak to that a little bit. I think it's fantastic. But why does gossip and judging and negativity, maybe each one of those?
Well, the thing is about these, they're not evil. They're not, I half jokingly call them the 7 deadly sins. And I think I did say in the TED Talk, that I'm not saying you should ban these things from your life and you're a bad person if you do them. What they do is they make you harder to listen to. They're like holes in the bucket of the power of your speaking. They leak power. So, yes, I mean, particularly if I work from the back, actually, Brian, if you don't mind, because I'm very exercised at the moment by dogmatism. And that comes from this tendency that we all have to be right. We want to be right. And, Harville Hendricks, the American counselor, said this great quote. He said, you can either be right or be in a relationship. And I think, there's so much truth in that. So, being right is such a powerful, it's ego-driven. And, I'm a great fan of lots of work around ego and starting to become aware of the ego. So, Eckhart Tolle and people like that talk about this a great deal of the time. So it's about understanding that there is that drive, and it tends to come out in dogmatism a great deal. Dogmatism is the confusion of opinions and facts. They're not the same thing. And if you conflate those two things, today is Tuesday. That's a fact as we record this. But, there are so many things that are not facts. And, that's rubbish. And whatever we say in these conversations that we have with people, table thumping, strident shouting. And unfortunately, the internet has made this so much worse, hasn't it? Because we go online to seek affirmation. There you are. I knew I was right. Thousands of people agree with me. Yeah, but there are millions who don't, and you're not talking to them. So I love that quote from actually Barack Obama said, I will listen to you, especially if we disagree. Now, there are not that many people doing that now. And one of the things, I don't know if I put this in the book, I mean, I love the idea of treating people as opportunities to learn. If you think of that, in economics, you've got opportunities to do this, that, and the other, and in marketing, opportunities to see and so forth in advertising. Well, I think if you think of people as opportunities to learn, life becomes very interesting. It may be you're learning how not to do something. Very often it is. I mean, I have family members where every time I meet them, they teach me a great deal of how not to do things. And we all do, I'm sure.
Right.
But there are other people where they're teaching you how to do things or how to learn things or how, new skills, new thoughts, new attitudes, perspectives, and so forth. And that is a wonderful way to listen to people. So that tends to shred the dogmatism a little bit. I'm quite keen on hearing things I disagree with and test them, try them on. Maybe they're even right. Who knows? Whatever that means. Yeah.
Or there's something I can learn from them, right? I mean, we live in this dogmatic world. It's bizarre.
Absolutely. So we got polarization.
The lost art of debate, discussion.
Exactly. Rhetoric's gone. It's now just it's sound bites and trashing people and trolling and all the rest of the stuff that goes on, which is very, very sad. So I think there's, if you unpack these 7 deadly sins, actually, any one of them, you can actually get quite deep into the behavior and what's behind it. And it's worth doing a little inventory. That's my gentle suggestion to everybody, is to go through, have a look at the TED Talk, if nothing else, and just write them down and just ask yourself, how do these things play out in my life? Do I do them, or do I have them done to me? So it's really worth it, because if you can start to become conscious of them, have a little alarm bell ringing when you're doing them. I'm not saying never do them, but if they become habitual, they certainly make you harder to listen to. Then with that alarm bell, you'll start to become more and more powerful, credible, and authoritative in your speaking.
Thanks for watching. If you want more tips on how to think, feel, and do better, check out these videos too. Oh, by the way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave us a like if you enjoyed the content.